It's a Canadian group that performed their hit songs How Many Kings and A Better Way. I'd like to welcome my guests at this time, Downhere. Thanks for joining us here.
Hey.
Now, you guys also will be performing August 8th, which will probably be, by the time this airs, shortly after it came, Thurston County Fairgrounds, a free concert in Olympia. So if we air before that, I'd like everybody to check that out. I want to start with the song How Many Kings. Of course, it was the end track off your latest release, but it took off to become a huge hit, especially around the holidays. So much so that you produced a Christmas CD around that song. What is it about that song that you think has an impact to listeners so much? What is it about that song?
Well, I think if people can relate to how I kind of relate to the gospel, I wrote that song kind of based around what I think is really cool about how God, when he intervenes in our lives or in human history, he seems to always do things the very last way that you would have expected. You know, coming as a baby in a manger, the God of all creation being so humble, and instead of coming with power and glory, he, allows himself to be murdered on a cross and, defeats death that way. I think for me, that's just really humbling and just reminds me of how much, in my own human endeavors, I'm so far away from, lining myself up with a spirit of humility like that. And so it kind of takes me to a place where I just kind of just stand in awe of God again. And it just, reminds me of that. And How Many Kings is also a really cool song for me because it's the only song that my dad has ever given me a phone call and said, "Hey, I love that song." And it was just really cool to connect with my dad in that way. It was a really unique experience for me. And, if anyone out there grew up with a dad who did his best and raised you well, and I know that that's definitely not everyone out there, that when a parent takes you aside and encourages you in an area of your life that you're really excited about and proud of, it goes so far for a son or a daughter, and that's really at the heart of the song is a father who loves his son and is very proud of his son. So yeah, that's How Many Kings.
Nice. I also wanted to get to talk about your beginnings, and you came from Canada. How did you guys start out as the group that we know today?
I'm on. We met at Bible College. Jay and Mark and I were all freshmen together at Briarcrest College up in Saskatchewan. And Jay and Mark came down to school. They'd met each other up out east in Canada. And so we kind of started playing together there as a worship team, as a chapel band. And eventually our junior year, Jay and Mark wrote and recorded an independent project. And the school then sent us out as a promotional team where we do concerts and talk about the college. And as things sort of progressed, we eventually were contacted by a record label out of Nashville. And long story short, we ended up signing a record deal with them and moving down to Nashville in 2001. And we've been there since.
Of course, you guys are performing on the main stage tonight for Creation. What is probably one of your most favorite things about performing in front of a live crowd? What is the element you like most about it?
The crowds when we're at festivals like this, when we have the opportunity to play main stage, it's great because especially Creation and the Creation East had a huge crowd as well, and you're able to sort of absorb some of the energy that they've got and give that back. It's a lot easier to play than when you're playing maybe say for a small audience, and so I don't know, I find that a lot of fun.
For me, I really enjoy it when I see someone engaged and singing along like they know the tunes already. I always find that to be really encouraging, like, oh, people know who we are and identify with the songs and can sing along. To me, that's the best thing. That and thunderous applause. I mean, those are the two things I like the best.
Yeah, because when you play a festival, it's usually a lot shorter set than you're usually playing, and you can just play all your hits, and it just kind of looks like you've got only hits.
I know that one. Oh, I know that one again. Time for our fun, fast facts segment. This is carried over from our regular Christian Music Spotlight segment, where we offer some fun, fast facts about your favorite artists. When you're out on the road or at home, is there a favorite food you like to enjoy? Anybody have a favorite
White
food?
chocolate blondies from Applebee's.
Oh, there we go.
Whenever we're in Wisconsin, someone manages to give us a bag or two of cheese curds.
And it's usually the same someone.
Love cheese curds though.
Favorite song you might have on your iPod or CD player?
Favorite
Is there
song.
a favorite right now, or a CD or a release?
I'm hearing a lot of Elmo's World these days because we put it on for my little guy, and he starts to dance and his arm starts going, and so it's fun. Elmo's World, man, that's where it's at.
I
There
wouldn't
you
be
go.
able to-
He can speak for
I
the
wouldn't be
band.
able to. That's the band favorite, actually. That'll be for.
The band anthem,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Also, last question or fun fast facts. Any of you have a favorite Bible scripture or book or character in particular that relates to you most?
That relates to me most.
That you can find yourself relating to, either
Yeah.
a favorite book or a scripture or a character in the Bible that
Yeah.
you find yourself identifying with.
Unfortunately, I identify with most of the Old Testament characters because they're all a bit of failures and they're cautionary tales. So I would say Saul, maybe a little bit. That mixed with a bit of, I think I go to Saul often to see the human heart at its worst, and a proud man who's running from the Lord, despite a calling on his life. I think I go there. So thanks, Saul, for making the mistakes I don't have to.
There you go. Fun fact statement. Anybody else want to share?
I'm just going through my head going, well, you don't really want to say Paul, or I suppose you could say Paul, but
I relate to the guys that wanted to throw Jonah out of the boat because I wouldn't want to sink in a ship if I knew there was one guy causing it. That's a fun fact.
If one or two you want to answer real quick, want to definitely have you guys to tell us, for any independent band starting out or anybody leading worship that's just kind of starting out, any advice as a band that you guys could give them for?
Get a job. Don't get into debt. Pay your bills.
Well, my favorite thing when we get to lead worship, it's definitely a different thing than when we're doing our concert songs. The thing I love about leading worship is you get to invite the audience in that much more because they're participating, and just remembering that more than ever, it's not about the band on stage. It's the best advice that I ever learned and kind of guides every time that I'm on stage leading worship specifically is just imagining that everyone in the room or wherever we are is one big choir playing for our audience of one who's God, instead of a band playing for an audience. So
Tell us real quick where we can find you online, website wise.
downhere.com, Facebook, Downhere, we're all there.
Canadian band Downhere. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on a special edition of our program. The Canadian group Downhere. We got Remedy Drive coming up when we return to Rehoboth Ministries Creation.